tell you this. I am proud to be surrounded by some very proud Americans, but I do ask you to bear up as I open with the following question. Does anybody give a damn about East St. Louis, Illinois? I've been reading about you. I read about you in the newspaper. I saw you in 60 Minutes. They tell me your town is falling down. You're so broke, you don't even own City Hall. They don't even collect your garbage. I read it in USA Today. Your police department has radios that do not work. And you just got a bailout from the state of Illinois, and the money is not going to come through unless your mayor reduces your budget. Here's the man, Carl E. Officer, Mayor of East St. Louis, Illinois. Now, Mayor, this is not going to please the folks here gathered. Here goes the media again, talking about all the bad stuff in East St. Louis. Roll this tape, Brian. It'll just take a second now. Bear up here. I'll tell you what is not so funny. This community across the river, the Mississippi River, from metropolitan St. Louis, does have a lap full of problems. And as you watch this, you might ask yourself how many other cities are similarly situated. This is a town that once boasted a population of over 100,000. The 1990 census places the number of souls living here now at around 40,000. It has a staggeringly high, look at the arch, see the arch across the river in St. Louis? You've heard of the other side of the tracks. This is the other side of the river. This was once a fabulous community, rich as a result of being a major stockyard center. And all that.
Them to give away our city hall, which at that time was never an estimate on how much it was worth. And within 23 minutes of me walking into the courtroom and walking out, I saw not only 267 acres of municipal property given away, but City Hall given away. Yeah. And less than 5 days later, the plaintiff's attorney sold City Hall for less than $100 and to his ex-law partner to avoid any taxes. And I say to you and everyone else in America, this is not just East St. Louis. This is beginning to happen in Camden, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Oakland.
What is this? What is this? Do you suggest here that that this is a white racist court coming down on a predominantly black?
I would not want to suggest that. I would want to emphatically point that is a fact of America. That is life. However, I think it is important to point out that is not just indicative to East St. Louis. We can go about 70 miles to the southeast of here. In the last 2.5 months, we have been missing 5 adult black males from a community called Sykeston, Missouri. Now, I just came back from Cairo, Illinois, where I was in Saturday night. That's a microcosm of what can happen to America. 2 things happened in 1968 in the state of Illinois that were tragic. 1, they gave me a driver's license, and 2, the Kerner report indicated that America was moving toward 2 separate societies, one white, one black. Yes. America has ignored that fact and built missile silos, industrialized its military complex, and completely ignored America's places. Why is it that we have to get the short end of the stick when we built this nation?
Yeah. And how come you don't develop your riverfront property? You've got one of the most beautiful riverfront properties. It's really unmatched in America. You look across at that arch, you look at that beautiful skyline.
And I'm going to tell you why.
Holy cow, I know a lot of rich folks love to live there and have a penthouse looking over the river.
And ever since the very first month I became mayor, I've had persons in downtown St. Louis who want to take me to the Missouri Athletic Club. And you know what they said to me? Mayor, we can develop this, we can do this. All we want is this, this, and this. I'm simply telling, and then they had the audacity to tell me, how can you stand seeing all those railroad tracks and weeds? Let me tell you, I grew up next door to a coal yard, and it's still there. And I live with railroad tracks and weeds, but I'm not about to sell out the education my parents were ready to give me so that when they tell me that you can have this, Black folks in East St. Louis won't own nothing on that riverfront. All they'll do is wind up being able to clean up. If we're going to develop it, it's going to develop where we get at least 25% of everything that's operating there, or we can still look at railroad checks and we'll keep making it. Now, we got to own something.
How much?
We're not talking about having a piece. We got to own a piece of the pie.
What percentage do you want?
I want at least 25% ownership from everything from top to bottom. I think that is the minimum to ask for. Black folks in America don't need jobs. We all had jobs in 1860. There was no such thing as unemployed slave. We need to own something. We need to own a piece of this rock.
Phil, I just like